It's a playoff foul right there. Felt like he got hooked, and Amen Thompson with the no-dunk rule.
We're now tuned in to the Dark Times channel.
So here we go again, back with another one. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And I want to go ahead and talk about Amen Thompson. We all know who he is by now at this point. At least you should know who he is by now.
Got nice size on him, tremendous athleticism, plays with a lot of energy, is fierce.
He will not. Van Vliet to inbound. They find Thompson. He drives his career night. And Amen Thompson wins it for the Rockets.
How would you describe the feeling as that shot left your hands and you knew you guys had it?
Well, that's my first game winning. I feel like Kobe.
And this is going to be somewhat of a hot take, but I think he's not only the most exciting player in the NBA, I think he's well on his way to becoming the best player in the NBA.
Now, if you want to crown him, then crown their ass.
If I had to pick one guy on their roster, one young guy, Jalen Green, Şengün, all those guys, Amen Thompson would be the guy I would pick. And I feel great about that. So part of me goes, and I wanted to ask you this, what's his upside? Because part of me wonders if his upside is All-Star selling him too short?
So we're talking about a player who just turned 22 years old in his second season, and I'm a believer. And I don't think I'm jumping the gun in the least bit. And somebody that's 22 years old is not supposed to know what to do with that kind of athleticism. That's why oftentimes you hear guys in their 30s and in their 40s talk about, I wish I knew. If I knew back then what I know now, everything would be different. And they're not lying. That's the truth. And the last 22-year-old, outside of the European players, in which I really don't count European players because they play in Europe for about 4 or 5 years professionally, at the age of 15 before they even get to the NBA. So I don't really consider that coming into the league as a rookie, coming into the league, from the amateur ranks, from high school and college and so forth. And so outside of that, Penny Hardaway is probably the last player that I can remember coming into the league with that kind of poise. And Penny Hardaway didn't have half the athleticism as Amen Thompson and his brother Asur for that matter. But Amen Thompson, like I said earlier, is somebody that already understands how to use his God-given abilities. It's a skill. And I saw this quote recently that kind of helped me understand a little bit better why it is Amen and Asur are playing the way that they're playing. And I came across this article in which it stated that Asur and Amen mentioned that their dad wanted them to play like Russel Westbrook. But Troy corrected them saying, I don't want them to play like Westbrook. I wanted them to hustle like Westbrook. And that's exactly what they play like.
Amen Thompson does remind you of like early era Kawhi Leonard in some ways, where it was impossible to project Kawhi would become as deadly as a mid-range shooter as he was if you just watched him coming out of the draft. But I watch him and I go, he has everything. He's a monster defender. He's a super athlete. He has great feel for the game. He's made of the right stuff. He's unselfish and has a high IQ.
Because I'll say this, Amen Thompson plays like if somebody infused the mindset and the will of a Artest into the body of a LeBron James with more athleticism. That's the NBA archetype that we're looking at. And it's almost like he's peaking early. It's almost like Amen started his prime at 22, because most NBA players start their prime around 25 to around 32. Those are the peak years in which they can maximize their athletic ability to go along with their basketball IQ and everything they've learned along the way to get them to the point that they are right now, to be able to maximize all the tools and all the gifts that they've been given within the NBA. But it seems like Amen started early, because he seems to get and understand what a lot of young players don't get and don't understand, what a lot of NBA players in general, no matter how old they get, don't understand. He seems to be about winning, because if Amen wanted to, Amen could be putting up 25 points a night easily, but he doesn't. Amen is somebody that lets the game come to him.
I'm gonna make this a one-on-one game. Look, I figured after the first 4 attempts didn't go in, he was gonna chill. Kobe. Yeah. He don't let the game come to him. No, he just go out there and take it. He's gonna take people, he's gonna make him make this shit happen. Shit. After the first 4 attempts, if I was a teammate, I wouldn't pass him the fucking ball. Hey, you want this ball again, brother, you better rebound.
And the Houston Rockets had a televised game on ESPN the other night, and I'm glad that I tuned in, because Amen Thompson played a complete game last night, and he did it so smoothly. And he showed me that he's the best 22-year-old player that's ever played in the NBA, outside of Will Chamberlain. And I want to go ahead and break down some of the game from the other night so you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is something that Amen can do every game. He can take it down the floor and he can find the open man every time down the floor. He puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense just because of how fast he is and how explosive he is. And when he gets to the rim, he's going to finish it. So if you're playing defense on Amen, you got to commit. And when you commit, somebody's going to be open. And he can hit that shot on the regular. He's very comfortable inside 10 to 12 feet. He's money.
Thompson got everything except the three-point shot. What a my goodness.
And that's just freaky right there. Somebody that size, he's not supposed to be able to do that. That's Russel Westbrook like. There's fast twitch athletes, and then there's that. Amen's in a category of his own. He's in a league of his own. And then he's a player that can finish down low as well. He's somebody that can play that dunker's role in that dunker spot, and he can finish with the best of them because of how high he gets. And then, like I said, inside of that 10-foot area, he's money. He's got a soft touch. And then here we go again. He's somebody that he's going to get to his spot, and bam, like I said, another play that you're not really supposed to be able to make. Dunking from that dotted line like it's nothing. And then once again, getting to his spot, using his footwork, finishing. You can't do anything with that. That's a player who knows his strengths and he knows his weaknesses. And that's a Jalen Green highlight. And I'll say this about Jalen Green. I didn't like Jalen Green when he first came into the league. I wasn't a huge fan of Jalen Green just because of his mentality and his persona, or at least his perceived persona, because I don't know him. But I thought a player like that was just going to be a player that was going to look to score and not necessarily get his teammates involved. But it seemed like Ime Udoka and some of the veterans that they've brought on has sort of changed his mentality a little bit. And it looks like he's turned a corner. It looks like he's committed to playing winning basketball. And so he's going to be a hell of a player. If he can continue on this trajectory, playing alongside Amen, that's going to be scary. That's going to be a scary duo right there. And then here we go again with Amen, getting to his spot, drawing four defenders, and he knew they were coming. That's somebody who knew he wasn't going to score. He was waiting for the defense to come, and when they came, he made the right play. 22 years old. And then he's somebody that's tenacious on the glass as well. Like I said, he can score in so many different ways.
They was in the first half, did they? No, they did not.
And then if he does this, if he can continue to do that, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. And so here we go again. He's going to recognize that he's got the smaller offensive guard on him. He's going to get to his spot, and he's going to shoot right over the top. He can do that every time down the floor if he wanted to. Get to his spot, knock down that shot. Beautiful. And then up, get to his spot again, money. And then he's still going to look to pass and get his teammates involved even when he's got it going on. That's tough for a 22-year-old. That's tough. Not a lot of 22-year-olds can do that. Not a lot of 22-year-olds want to do that. Most 22-year-olds, second year in the league, they want to try to establish themselves as the guy. Everybody wants to be the guy. Well, Amen Thompson, I'm sure he wants to be the guy in his own right, but he knows that in order to be the guy, if you win, you're automatically the guy, especially if you win early. Not too many guys can say they won early. You got Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and a few other players, but outside of that, not many players can say they won early. And Amen Thompson and the Houston Rockets are looking like they're going to win, and they're going to win pretty soon. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship within the next year or two, but I think they're going to be contenders. From here on out, probably from next year on, they're going to be contenders for a very long time, and Amen Thompson is going to be one of the main reasons for that. And the only thing I would critique about the Rockets, and I know a lot of people, especially Houston Rockets fans, I've debated Houston Rockets fans over this before, they probably won't agree, but if they want to hit another level, if they want to take it up another notch, I would shop Şengün. I would shop around Şengün in this offseason. And Şengün is not a bad player. He's an all-star. I think he could be a borderline superstar on the right team. Maybe one day. And so him and Amen Thompson on the floor at the same time, I don't like it. I don't like it because I feel like it's almost a little bit redundant. Amen Thompson is somebody that can play that role to get everybody involved. He can be that point forward. And so I don't like having Amen Thompson on the floor with a non-shooter, especially a player that's not really a dominant defensive player. Now, if they can get another dominant defensive player down low that can knock down a three and pair him up with Amen Thompson and Jabari and Jalen Green, I think that would be a better fit. That's my take on it anyways. You guys go ahead and let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments section below, as I know y'all will. And I'm going to try to be as active in there as I can. And as usual, peace and chaos.